Hello you lovely people and welcome. First off, let me apologise for the lacking quality of this part of the video. I'm currently recording video on a potato and sound on a hairbrush. I lack any sort of sophisticated recording devices for real world videoings, so I'll try and get this part done as quickly as possible because it's terrible. So, the main reason for this video, if you haven't seen by the thumbnail by now, I got a surprising email in my inbox that I wasn't expecting. Pimax got in touch with me saying, would I like to do a collaboration video with one of their headsets? I thought it was a spam email at first and sort of was a bit cautious about replying, but then I did, and turns out it was real. So a few back and forths with a nice guy named Spike. They sent me over a Pimax Crystal Super to review. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not being paid for this video, so my review is completely my own words. Basically, I'm not being told to say this, that, and the other. If it was that, I wouldn't have done the video. So, let's get into the main thing, the headset itself. So, there it is in all its awesomeness. Took a few days to get from China to here. I am slightly wary about having this in the house because it's worth more than most of the possessions that I own, and it's a loan. So it's got to go back at some stage, and yeah, just got to be wary of everything. So, my machine, I run a i7 9500K processor, which is an 8-core, 64 gigabytes of Corsair RAM, and a GeForce 3060. I thought I had a 3070, but turns out I was wrong. So, not a beast by any stretch of the imagination. So this wasn't really going to run at its absolute best. So anybody thinking that I would be able to get any sort of jaw-dropping visuals from inside the headset, unfortunately, my machine doesn't have the potential to unlock the headset, but the headset had the potential to unlock my graphics card. And what I did see, Jesus Christ. So, like I say, we'll go through the hardware first. So, the headset itself is quite a little bit heavier than my Reverb G2, but the design of it is absolutely brilliant. First off, you've got this massive face hugger at the front. Unlike the G2, which is very thin and puts a lot of pressure in certain points on your face, you come off look like you've been wearing a ski mask. This is very comfortable. Considering its weight, the weight distribution through the whole of the halo is absolutely fantastic, because just picking it up itself is quite heavy. So yeah, you've got this halo design, which the wire runs around. It's got a great little system where it runs around the back. I've not had any issues with it clinging to anything, unlike my Reverb, which catches onto anything and everything. The weight distribution across the top, nice wide strap, so you're not getting a very, very tight squeeze across the top of the head. And then you've got this fantastic little back pad here that sits at the base of the skull. And that really completes the snug fit. And then obviously tightening it, I'm used to elastic straps, and anyone who knows what elastic straps can do, they can give you quite a headache after a while. This is a ratchet design, so it's not being completely forced onto your head, so you can fit it to your exact specifications and get the maximum comfort out of it. Speakers, now I didn't get the enhanced speakers, this is just your standard variant. I can't remember, I think is it D-Max or something like that speakers. I've got the silver bar with the speaker that comes down the bottom here somewhere. Here we've got a slit across the bottom, and the way that chucks the sound out is quite impressive. With my reverb, the speakers are right in front of the ear, and the sound is okay. This is absolutely incredible. Even on low setting, you get a really good sound from both the earpieces. Across the front, we have obviously you've got your 4 little cameras at the front here, and you've got, I don't know if you can see that in the video actually because of the poor lighting. There we go. You've got a V there. That lights up when it's connected to your machine. You can change the colours and things of that. You've got volume and a sort of a screensaver button here, so you push that and the screen will go blank. You push it again, it'll come back on. So it can all be controlled from the headset. And yeah, the nose section here, obviously you've got your sensor at the bottom there. Once that's covered, the lenses will come to life. But this part here, very nice flimsy rubber material, sits very comfortably on the nose. The reverb has quite stiff rubber, and your nose starts to get a little bit hot after a while, where this is quite breathable. And then we come to the lenses. I mean, look at the size of those things. Lift that up. Those lenses are absolutely impressive. I get a binocular vision from the reverb, so you get black ring around the outside. With this, when it's set correctly, oh, you can actually see my reflections in the lenses there. How lovely for you. With this, it's pretty much like having a window put up to the front of your face. You're able to look around and see everything quite clearly when everything's set nicely. It has an interpupillary distance system that it's not manual. No sliders anywhere on the headset. It's all done digitally on the inside. So you can set it up from the Pimax Play app, which actually gets the headset up and running, and it gives you a target to look at, and then it detects your pupils, and you can hear the mechanism inside the headset setting itself to the distance of your pupils. Also has eye tracking, which is something I'm not used to at all. Excuse me. And what this does, basically, it detects where your pupils are, wherever it's looking. You do a calibration, and wherever you're looking, the pixels will become more denser, more detailed, pretty much like in real life vision. Wherever you're looking, say if I'm looking at this bit here, everything around the edge starts to get a little bit more out of focus. And basically, the eye tracking is very similar to that. It's basically a digitized version of that. But unfortunately, that made me feel a little bit ill after a little while, so I had to sort of switch that off in the settings and just have it so it's the basic clear across the board, which wasn't a bad thing because that meant I could just look around without any of my vision being distorted in any way. But that will bring me on to the next stage of the review in a minute, which will be the Pimax Play for this. But I'll just show you quickly what else you get in the box. You get an extra face pad. You also get the hand controllers. Just grab one. So look, this is your hand controller, and beauty of these is that it's USB charged, so no batteries to be put inside, and unlike the Reverb where I have to charge the batteries up and stick them back in, and it's very comfortable. These are all pretty much, I've just set that off. That's pretty much similar across the board with what I've seen. They're a little bit smaller than the Reverb ones, but they are pretty much the same layout. You've got your finger and thumb buttons there, and then you've got your stick, a start button, an activation, and then you've got buttons on the inside. I've accidentally set that up. There we go, it's off now. Easy as that. So yeah, you get two of those, and then the last thing I'll show you is that no matter where you are in the world, you get an adapter plug-in, which obviously mine's UK based. If I just grab that now, so there you have it. Got the 3-pin, and then obviously you've got your connectors to the actual piece itself. God, this is so unprofessional. Excuse me for one moment. Okay, so you've got the connector that goes straight into your graphics card, and then you've got a USB 3 connector that goes into the back of your rig. So yeah, nice and simple, nice and easy to set up. The manual side is anyway, but we'll get onto the software now. So for me, this is where things get a little bit difficult. This is the Pimax Play software. It was a bit too in depth for me. As you can see, I've got the headset connected, no controllers. Then you've got different settings. So you can set your room up or your space that you're going to be playing in, and you've got some other bits and pieces for Steam VR and set pair, restart service. And then you've got the in-depth part, which I just couldn't grasp. So the device itself, you've got different bits and pieces here for lighting, refresh rates, eye tracking there, and your eye tracking calibration. And come down, and this is where your IPD adjustment is. You can put it in manually, or you can do it automatically. You can set each game up differently. And you've got your field of view, image quality, GPU upscaling, sharpness, fixed foveated rendering, Pimax control, priority rendering, which you can set to different settings. You've got smart smoothing down a bit further, lock half frame rate, and then color options, and this just goes over my head. You can set Pimax to OpenXR instead of Steam VR, and then you come down to advanced. You've got pass through, which if you double tap the headset, you get the image that looks through the headset. So the first bit of recording that I did was in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm in the Azure Poly Jaguar A. Now, forgive there seems to be some sort of stuttering. I've had it before using OBS for recording, and I think that could be the issue, because I can guarantee I wasn't suffering any of the stuttering in the headset. But yeah, it's going to be a bit weird trying to describe this, because you can't really see what I'm seeing in the headset. You're just seeing what's being mirrored onto the monitor, which isn't really the same thing. But with Microsoft Flight Simulator being quite resource heavy, and the same pretty much with 2024, it's hard to get a really good smooth running and plus high quality visuals on my machine as it is. I mean, it looks okay as it is, but in the headset it was completely different, because you're getting assistance from the hardware inside the headset, unlike on the Reverb. I know I keep going back to the Reverb, but that's the only comparison I've got. I've not used a Quest 3 or any other headset yet. So in comparison with the Reverb, which is basically a plug and play, and Windows mixed reality does pretty much all the work for you, going through OpenXR and just doing a few little touch-ups here and there. It's very easy to use, but with the Pimax it's so in depth. You really need to know what you're doing. You really need the hardware to push it as well. I'm just going by what the visuals were from which I see, and there was quite a big step up in the headset, in terms of looking through the headset and using that to fly, and it really did. It was like, I don't know, it's hard to explain it. It was like flying with a big cinema screen in front of me. Everything was a lot clearer. There was a lot more that I could see. Also, just looking around, I didn't have to turn my head like I do with the Reverb to focus on something in the cockpit. I could just look down slightly, look up slightly, and none of it would be out of focus. It was such a awesome experience, I will say, in comparison to what I'm used to. And these videos that I'm about to show you just don't do it justice. The only one that had the biggest improvement was DCS, but we'll get to that shortly. So here I am in the Azure Poly Jaguar A, and I'm about to go into the Mac loop. As you can see, the still stuttering. I don't understand why, because it was running smooth. I would never have recorded any crap visuals, because why would I? It's just embarrassing. So I don't know if I'm going to have to give up using OBS to record again or not. I'll have to experiment in my next video that I make, but I can't go back and re-record these now because the guest account has expired and I don't get access to the Pimax Play now. So yeah, the as you can see, nice low level flying, smooth from what I could see, and yeah, I mean, a completely different experience. It really did make it feel like I was flying for the first time again. Now on to MSFS 2024, flying North Wales in the Just Flight Hawk T1, and entering what I like to call the Batterby Low flying area, as he is the one who taught me this route. And yeah, again, visuals were better in 2024 than they were in 2020, mainly because 2024 there's more streaming involved, there's less load on the CPU, so that improved things slightly. Again, like I say, I've not got a beast of a machine, so I don't expect perfection, but like I say, the Pimax really did unlock the potential of my graphics card, and I got a totally different experience to what I'm used to with the Reverb. The sounds, something I didn't touch on in the previous part of this video, with the speakers being above the ears and piping the sound sort of around that area, gave it a little bit more of an element of realism. When you're out and about or doing something, sounds aren't directly sent straight into your lug holes. The sound is around, which the speakers on this Pimax actually sort of gave the impression of, instead of having headset or speakers directly over the ears. So it was nice to have that element changed as well. Like I say, the visuals were great. Again, stuttering in this video, and it's from, I believe it's from OBS. If I go back to the video recording, I'm sure I'd get a smoother experience again with the videos. So I do apologise in the quality, but that I can guarantee that while I was flying in the headset, it was running smooth. So I'm not sure why. I've had this before many years ago with OBS, and I was a bit wary about going back into it. But anyway, back to the headset. Yeah, I mean, with the big movie theatre like visuals in front of you, with those big lenses and the sounds coming from above, just, I don't know, it's just a complete different experience. Obviously, in comparison to the reverb, it is obviously better, many times better. The fact that I mean, the reverb was good for a couple of years back, was good, but the fact that Microsoft are giving up with the mixed reality software at the end of this year shows you their faith in the headset. So yeah, it's great to see how things have how the technology has leaped over the previous couple of years. Again, I mean, VR is still very new to me. Going in depth like the Pimax Play software goes into, it's a little bit over my pay grade. It's something I'm going to have to learn, especially if I end up getting something like that for my next headset, which, if I win the lottery, probably would be. But yeah, it's a great headset. It offers a totally different experience to what I'm used to. The visuals, the sounds, the comfort, all are uprated compared to what I'm used to. Like I say, the only downside for me personally, because I'm not tech savvy enough, is the software to get everything perfect, because you've got to go into the headset, get that running right, and then get into whatever you're running the headset for, and then get into the settings and getting those set up to match with the headset to get them running in unison to get a really good experience. And it took me 3 or 4 days to try and get to what you're seeing now. Well, you're not seeing what I was seeing in the headset, but get it running smooth and to a standard where it was acceptable to fly. It was comfortable for my eyes, and yeah, I mean, if I had bought the headset, I would have been very happy with the experience. It's not like I struggled totally. I mean, I did get there in the end, did find a little bit of a sweet spot, but Microsoft Flight Sim, Microsoft 2020 and 2024 are both quite resource heavy when it comes to running the sim, so there is that to bear in mind as well. So this is where the Crystal Super absolutely shone. So DCS, I'm flying the Ergonomics S16, and I'm on the 4YA Sanaki, or is it Sakumi? I think it's the Sanaki Caucasus player versus environment server, and I think there was about 30 people in the server, so about half full. And anyone knows DCS when you're in a server can run a little bit laggy. I didn't really get any of that using the Crystal Super. The visuals, again, you can't see on the screen, but in the headset, my god, this thing looked great. It's by far, out of all three of the sims, this is the one that really stood out. Everything was crystal clear, hardly any pixelization, and it ran absolutely lovely. And considering now that we've had the recent update, we've had now, as you can see, probably bottom left, you can see sort of an arch where the colours differ slightly. They've now added it so you've got a visor on your helmet, and that to start with was causing issues, but tweaked the headset, tweaked the settings in game, and I managed to get super crystal clear and smooth experience from it. Absolutely loved every second. Not to say that I didn't enjoy flying Flight Sim and Flight Sim 2024. I did. I absolutely loved that. Like I say, it was like a new experience. But going from that into this, now with their multi-threading, running off different parts of the processor, and just taking the load off, and then having a headset like the Crystal Super, the visuals, the sounds, it just, again, new experience, and it got quite addictive. That was until personal life got in the way, but getting the visuals was a hell of a lot of fun in DCS, because it just looked stunning. And I like I say, I'm on a 3060. I'm not running a monster of a PC. So to get that from what I was running, it was amazing. This was by far the I mean, I'm now back in on the reverb, and I feel like I've been spoiled with the Crystal Super, now going back to the reverb, because now I've only got one sweet spot in the headset. I'm having to move my head a hell of a lot more to look at things in the cockpit. This just shone. It really did. I mean, you get what you pay for, and I guess you could say, and it was, well, just a pleasure to be able to experience it firsthand and just have a play around with it. So I'm really thankful to Pimax for giving me the offer and sending out the unit for me to review. It was just something I wasn't expecting, and it was a great treat to be able to witness this sim in a different light. So yeah, great fun, and I thoroughly recommend the Crystal Super if you can afford it. It's, well, like I say, I've not used the Quest 3, so I can't really say, but it is leaps and bounds ahead of what I'm used to, and just thankful for the experience. It was gonna miss that when it goes, but the reverb is still my trusty go-to, purely for the plug and play simplicity. I guess if I actually owned the Pimax outright, I would be able to actually sit down and properly get into the ins and outs of it all, but had very limited time to play around with it really, and get the sweet spot for both the PC and the headsets running in harmony with each other really. As you can see on the visuals nowadays, you often get a slight judder, but that's purely because it's on multiplayer. Wouldn't normally get that on single player. So that leaves me to really sort of say that if you're interested in getting the Pimax Crystal Super, they're having a Black Friday sale, and they've also given me a discount code if anybody watching this video decides to go and order one, and I will put the code at the bottom of the screen. I'll also put the link in for the Black Friday sale, so you can go and peruse at your leisure. But then that's got that part out of the way. Just to mention that they had the sale going on, and again, thank you Pimax for the experience. It was absolutely fantastic and completely out of the blue. So with that, I hope that you've enjoyed the video. I know it's been a while since I last released one, and apologies again, it's just life getting in the way. But yeah, if you got this far, thank you for watching, and as always, take care, and I will see you in the next one.